A lot of ways to navigate some navigable waters in the Bay Area. What about a kayak where you can go right on the other side of the city over there to McCovey Cove and get one of 35 splash hits that Barry Bonds hit into that waterway as we are looking forward to the Super Bowl in the Bay Area. And speaking of people with the initials B, fraudulently denied admission to the Pro Halls of Fame, welcome to Super Bowl Today. Patrick Claybon here with Marcus Grant. This is Super Bowl Today Vantage Point presented by Verizon as we get a chance to look forward to Super Bowl 60. It's coming up today. A lot of great stuff on the show for folks, Marcus.
That should be a lot of fun. You know, we had a good one yesterday. Looking forward to today. I know a lot of game stuff to talk about. A lot of folks, celebrities, athletes. Should be a good one.
Speaking of celebrities and athletes, do you like them? You're watching this show. Well, I mean, we're not going to count ourselves here. No. Here's some celebrity athletes, including one podcast host. There's Jaxson Dart, Christian McCaffrey, Tetairoa McMillan, Penei Sewell, Fred Warner, among those included in today's edition of Super Bowl Today. Looking forward to a great game coming up on Sunday.
This is what we grind for, man. Leave it all on the field. I ain't come this far just to come this far.
We said all along, you gotta be willing to spill some blood.
Your quarterback get an MVP here.
Throws it back corner for Hooper. Reaches up and makes the catch.
Another perfect pass by Sam Darnold.
Chance of MVP for Drake May.
JSN. He's gonna go in. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Throws it to the end zone for Diggs. Reaches up, comes down.
What a catch.
Are you kidding me? What a job by the Seahawks defense.
Ooh, let's go. Unbelievable. Super Bowl 60.
And the Seahawks are going back to the Super Bowl.
Patriots looking for a Super Bowl championship number 7. Of course, the other 6 courtesy of one Tom Brady. Let's look back and compare 2001 Tom Brady with 2025 Drake May. Drake May has won more games, played more games. Pass touchdown, interception ratio, much better. Points per game, much better. So it's official, Marcus. Drake May is much better than Tom Brady.
Obviously.
Book it. We have said it.
Done.
It's true. The numbers don't lie. No, Drake May has honestly been very, very good. But his pass catchers have been very good as well. Which one do you think needs to step up the most if they're going to hoist another Lombardi trophy?
I think it's going to be Stephon Diggs. It has to be. That's the reason they brought him to New England. He's a guy who's had big game experience in the past. Now, obviously, never maybe playing at this level, but he's supposed to be the playmaker. He's the leader of that wide receiver room. Now, in the past, you can ask our pal Michael F. Florio about his sort of disappearances maybe in the playoffs with the Buffalo Bills, but I think he's going to have to be the guy to lead the way. Maybe not the big play guy, but sort of that guy that when you got to have it, when you got to move the chains, he's the one who has to show up.
Well, historically, if you want to talk about the big play guy, I think back to the very first touchdown that Drake May threw in the NFL. It was Kayshon Boutte going up against his college teammate, Derek Stingley Jr. We thought coming into that matchup, oh, man, that's tough. You're asking this quarterback to play against this defense? Well, he went out there and delivered. And then he and Kayshon Boutte hooked up against Sting. I don't know what they have against Derek Stingley Jr. specifically, but it happened again in this postseason. The task is tough with both Reek Woolen and Witherspoon, 2 very good corners. Josh Jobe, a very talented corner. They're going to have to complete tight window throws, but this is the best tight window quarterback in the NFL. And so I think there's some opportunity there for the New England Patriots. And you want to talk about young quarterbacks getting a chance to be successful? There's a new head coach in East Rutherford. It's Coach Harbaugh. We've got Coastal Harbaughs now. It's his big brother, John, now the head coach of Jaxson Dart and the New York Giants. Jaxson Dart speaking to the media this week.
What is something that you're most excited about to kind of be around John Harbaugh as the leader of your team?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say thank y'all for taking the time. Excited to be here. But I think, Coach Harbs, we had conversations before he even had the job, and he's just somebody who instills a relentless mindset from an organization, from a team standpoint. So I think as a competitor, that's exactly what you want to be in. He has a ton of respect from everybody that's been around him, from, league-wide, and he's a coach that, you can really look up to as a man of faith and just as a man in general of, who he is as an individual and a leader of men. So can't wait to get at it.
Jaxson, it seemed like you and Cam Scatterbo, you guys had this place rocking. You had this team doing things that we really didn't foresee. What was it like playing with him, and how was it having him in the locker room, and obviously him coming back from his injury?
Yeah, in the locker room, Cam's the best. Scat's a savage. I mean, I think that's the perfect word to kind of describe him. But just like as a friend, as a teammate, he's somebody who, we just kind of hit it off initially. He's just somebody who raises the bar from everybody around him from an intensity standpoint, from, being a great teammate, rooting people on and wanting everybody to succeed. And then on the field, man, he's just a killer. Like, he's going to do everything he can for the team to win. And I love Scat, so can't wait for him to get back healthy and for us to get rolling.
Jaxson, it's been so interesting to watch your journey, having met you here last year, Super Bowl week. You coming through, asking a bunch of questions, what it's going to be like at the Senior Bowl and all this other stuff, to then seeing you kind of develop into being an outstanding rookie. What did you learn this year, and how are you going to be able to take the lessons to turn into fantastic play as a sophomore?
I think that's a great question. I feel like this past year, I feel like it was like 3 years into one. It was kind of just a whirlwind of, just things like that you go through from one thing to the next. And then there's a lot of adversity throughout the season of, obviously, the coach getting fired, and then, us as players having guys who are banged up and just trying to just get over a little bit of a hump, especially in some, the fourth quarters in the games. But I think the biggest thing for me is just that, there was a ton of lessons. And, I had a lot of really great vets in the room. I got to give a big shout out to Russ and Jameis and those guys who, shed off a ton of wisdom and knowledge to me. And were just people that I could really rely on every single day. So I think from just a vet standpoint, I was around really great guys and people who I could ask questions to and they gave great advice. So I think the biggest lesson I learned was just patience and being able to weather storms of adversity.
Man, that's really valuable, right? To be able to take those lessons now into year two and into a brand new era. One of which I know you hope Malik Neighbors is healthy enough for you for a full season to be able to throw out to him. What have been your impressions? I know you guys didn't get a ton of time to play together, but from that time and with his recovery, what excites you about that connection moving forward?
Yeah, Leek's a dog, just in simple terms to describe him. He's somebody who just has a huge chip on his shoulder, and I think he's the best receiver in the league. So when he gets out there rolling, I can't wait to get him that rock and watch him just go ball and be back in the game that he loves. I know that these injuries, it takes a big toll on us and especially him, just because of the competitor and how much he loves this game. So I know that when he gets back out there, he's going to be a huge difference maker for us, and he's going to be so special. So I can't wait to get him that rock for sure.
We're looking forward to it, man. Also, obviously looking forward to seeing what happens here with you as one of Pepsi Zero Sugar's Rookie of the Year finalists. Man, what's that mean to you to get a chance to perhaps, hoist that hardware?
Yeah, first of all, just big shout out to Pepsi Zero Sugar. I mean, I got this cool jacket on, and they've been, a great partner so far. So really just been organic and just, when you're around great people, it makes it easy. So I think just from, standpoint of, that just having the opportunity to be a part of that group of these great players, these rookies, and a lot of us are going to be, players who make a ton of plays for this league for a really long time. So it's an exciting time, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Great interview with Jaxson Dart there on Super Bowl Live this week. Marcus, we've got a new coach, the coach we're very familiar with, going to a team that has a lot of talent. We just heard Jaxson talking to Bucky and MJD and Rhett about all that talent there. How confident are you, Coach Harbaugh, is going to turn that thing around?
Look, I think there's a good foundation there, right? You talk about the talent we talk about on the offensive side, Jaxson Dart, Malik Neighbors when he's healthy, Cam Scatterbu hopefully back healthy again next year. I think defensively they have some good pieces there as well. I think for John Harbaugh, what was his biggest strength in Baltimore was sort of, and I don't mean this in a derogatory, was kind of an administrator, right? Kind of as a CEO of the organization, of the football side of things. And I think it's really going to hinge on who he brings in around him. I know, he brings in Matt Nagy as the offensive coordinator. Curious to see what they do defensively on that side as well. But I just think it's his ability to sort of manage, not just manage egos, but sort of the administrative part of the thing that has been really what has been great for him. The talent is there, and now I think if he can sort of bring that stability to the organization, I think that'll go a long way in determining their on-field success.
Yeah, the big value that you get with Coach Harbaugh is the network, the capacity to evaluate coaches, bring them in. Of course, we're talking about a game that's coming up on Sunday with with Mike Macdonald coaching, where we may not have Mike Macdonald at this position in the NFL if not for John Harbaugh. And then, of course, you don't necessarily give him all the credit in the world for having the faith in a young Lamar Jackson. There were a lot of us out there in the football fan community that had eyes and recognized the talent that Lamar Jackson is, but it took a coach to have faith in that and belief in that. And folks have it in Jaxson Dart, and we'll see if that belief will translate to some more wins for the New York Giants, because the franchise has had a lot in its past, and we'll see if they can utilize what they have now to push towards the future. We're going to push towards the future in this edition of Super Bowl today. More to come when we come back. We're talking offense. Is it offensive to say that Christian McCaffrey should be the Offensive Player of the Year? We'll find out what Marcus thinks. I'll offer some thoughts as well. Super Bowl Today Vantage Point, presented by Verizon, continues right after this. Super Bowl 60 weekend kicks off with NFL Honors presented by Invisalign. Find out who will take home the NFL's most prestigious awards, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and more with host John Hamm, live tonight at 9 Eastern on NBC and on NFL Network. One of the awards going out, the Offensive Player of the Year. Here are your nominees: Bijan Robinson, Christian McCaffrey, Drake May, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Puka Nacua. We saw both JSN and Puka Nacua in the NFC Championship game. Bijan and the Falcons narrowly missed a spot in the playoffs. Of course, Drake May is playing in the Super Bowl as well. So a lot of talent. The question mark is only one person can win. We don't know who will win. Who do you think should win Offensive Player of the Year?
If I was going to be a homer, I'd probably go with Christian McCaffrey with the way he carried that offense. But I think it should be Jackson Smith-Njigba. Just kind of the leap he made. I think we saw flashes of it last season when he really started to surpass DK Metcalf in that Seahawks offense. And this year he took it to a whole new level. 40% of the passing yards amassed by Sam Darnold went to Jackson Smith-Njigba. He was a terror all over the field. Part of the reason they are in this game, the Super Bowl this week, is because, look, he went up against the Rams, who you could argue are the second best team in the NFL potentially right now, and the Rams had zero answers for him. We're talking about him on the short list of Super Bowl MVP. Even as a wide receiver, was in the conversation for most valuable players. So because we know that's a quarterback award, we can argue that later. I think he should be Offensive Player of the Year, kind of as a consolation, if you will.
Yeah, and it's really honestly silly, the way that we don't necessarily have any firm terms for what these things mean other than value, and then what is value. But in terms of Offensive Player of the Year, I think it's Bijan Robinson. We've gone and seen Bijan Robinson have some of the most successful games for a franchise that has traditionally had a little bit of struggles. Let's be honest, in Atlanta, in prime time. What about the performance against the Buffalo Bills when he had 170 rushing yards and 106 receiving yards? Are you kidding me? And then there was a late season game against the Los Angeles Rams, where we talked about the Rams at that time being one of the best teams in the NFL. He had 22 carries, 195 yards. He averaged 8.9 yards per carry against a team that was 4 yards perhaps from being in this game. I think it's Bijan Robinson. I think a lot of these players are very good, but Marcus, we have to get some firm guidelines for what these awards mean. Otherwise, they don't ultimately mean very much.
No, they don't. And you and I during the season, we do the Fantasy Live show here. I will tell you that for what it's worth, us fantasy geeks are probably going to be taking Bijan Robinson #1 overall in a whole lot of drafts. I mean, it is a game geared toward offense. And if us nerds love him, maybe he is the Offensive Player of the Year.
One player that some nerds, we're not going to say us, some nerds were down on is Christian McCaffrey, who had a great fantasy football season. He was having a discussion with the folks on Super Bowl Live this week on NFL Network.
Congratulations, Christian, on your first award of the week, the USAA Salute to Service Award. Thanks for joining us, man. What does that acknowledgement mean to you?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. No, this thing means everything to me. Having being recognized for honoring our troops, our veterans, our servicemen and women. It's something I don't take lightly. And I'm really proud to receive it and excited about the work to be done. USA has done such a great job of helping these people out, and just excited to carry the torch. And it was pretty cool. George Kittle got to give me the award,
nice.
And he was the winner last year. And so just keeping it in the 49er family. But I'm so proud of the work that my foundation's doing and all the people who have helped. And again, just really excited for the work that we'll continue to do.
Christian, you were so close this year to getting that 1,000. I was one of the guys who was hoping you got a chance to get it. What's the work that you have to put in the offseason? And then the second question is, did you really think about that coming towards the end of the season and having the opportunity to get there?
Yeah, the offseason, as you know better than anybody, it's kind of a nonstop process where you're working as hard as you can all the time to try to peak at the right times, to give yourself the foundation that you need to withstand the storm of the season. As far as, getting to that 1,000 number, transparently, absolutely. I was very aware of how many yards I needed, but at the end of the day, it's you want to win games, however that may be. I've played in games you have 10 yards receiving. You played in games you have 100. You just want to win games and whatever it takes. But you're aware of it. You know those numbers that are coming up, and then at the end, knowing that I didn't get it, I always look back on the plays where I could have broke a few more tackles or whatever it may have been to get to that number. But it's good fuel to the fire.
Christian, I think this is one of the best years that Kyle Shanahan has had as a coach because all the injuries, all the turnover, you guys were this close to being the number 1 seed. What is it about Kyle that he's able to kind of take it when you guys should be down and out, but respond with remarkable performances on offense and as a team in general?
Yeah, Kyle's the coach of the year in my book. I think when you look at what our team went through this year and you look at the consistency we still had, that's a testament to leadership. When you got young guys stepping up, guys that haven't played in meaningful games in their life show up and play as well as they did. It's John and Kyle and Jed, they've done a great job bringing the right kind of guys in and having, a high standard of practice, of meetings, of treatment of play to where, hey, guy goes down, we don't blink. And I think that's everybody talks about Kyle's ability to scheme up plays, and obviously it's unbelievable the way he coaches football. But to get your players to play at a high standard, especially when you lose guys, and to have it, last throughout your depth, that's very difficult. Not everybody can do that, and he does it so well, and he does it in a very professional, organic way that, our practices are hard and our standard is very high. And again, I can't say enough good things about that, from him, from John, from the leadership, from the other leaders on the team, and then from our guys who are, who are backups and rookies who came in and balled out, man. It was obviously didn't end the way we wanted to, but it was a really fun team to be a part of.
Well, just 2 years ago, you had one of the starting quarterbacks for this game on your team in Sam Darnold. What did you learn about Sam that you feel like sets him up for success in this matchup against the Patriots here?
Yeah, I played with Sam in Carolina too, so I've actually been on 2 teams with Sam, and I don't have enough good things to say about Sam. He's become not only one of my favorite teammates I've ever had, but one of my best friends, somebody that very easy to go to battle for. He's had to endure so much in his career, so it is good seeing him get his flowers, because I knew way back then, I'm like, this guy isn't just a good quarterback. He's one of the better players that I've played with. And so I look at what he's been through. I look at taking Minnesota to the playoffs and winning 14 games in his first season with the team. And then, they get rid of him, and then he does it again on a new team. That's unbelievable. I don't think it's getting talked about enough. And, obviously, we don't root for any other teams, but, it is good to see somebody like that, who I just have the utmost respect for, playing as well as he is, having fun, and in a Super Bowl.
Christian wanted everybody to know they're not rooting for anybody. He watches football with the Rob Lowe NFL hat on and just celebrates everybody's accomplishments. Here's the most rushing touchdowns in a single postseason in franchise history for the Seattle Seahawks. I know there's some Hawks fans that say, well, one of those
should have been 5, man.
Should have added one,
yeah.
to that. But Kenneth Walker, greater than Marshawn Lynch and Super Shonic. Shout out to Sean Alexander. So let's discuss the running back opportunity here in Super Bowl 60. Who do you think will have the biggest impact in the game at the running back position?
I think it could be Travion Henderson. And I know that seems sort of out of the box, considering we've seen very little of him in this postseason. I mean, you go back to that AFC Championship game, and he was effectively a healthy scratch. I think he played 4 snaps, had 3 carries, and that was it. But what we saw against the Seahawks defense, they're very hard to run on. But we saw Blake Corum actually have some success. I think if you are the Patriots, you want that guy who can be explosive, who can hit a home run every time he touches the football. Ramondre Stevenson, no knock on him, he's just not that guy. We saw from Henderson during the season that he could pop a big one at any time. I think you want to give him some opportunities to maybe have a game-changing run in there. We'll see if that's what Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels decide they want to do, but I do think given a good number of opportunities, Henderson could end up being a game-changing player.
The player that I think will have the opportunity to impact the game at the running back position is a guy who has been getting more opportunities. Unfortunately, it's because Zach Charbonnet had the late season into the postseason tear of his ACL, and that's Kenneth Walker III, who if you're paying attention yesterday, which you should, we appreciate you watching our show here on the NFL Fast Channel. He could be the Super Bowl MVP, and that's strictly based on his ability to make people miss, to make plays in space. We know that the Seattle Seahawks have had some issues up front, especially in the interior of the offensive line. When those guys are wrong, Kenneth Walker can make it right, and he does have the propensity to maybe try to make a play that might not be there. But I think on this stage, having that explosion, the ability to play in a season where he did split carries with Zach Charbonnet, he's probably healthier than a lot of people who are playing this game after a very long season into the postseason. So, yeah, Kenneth Walker could have a huge impact in this game, and I would like that because he's a fun player to watch. All these guys, fun. We get a great opportunity to see a lot of great players. And coming up, we'll get an opportunity to discuss more of Super Bowl 60 when we come back on Super Bowl Today Vantage Point, presented by Verizon. We have hoped to see the Lions get to this point. They have not yet been able to make it. Dan Campbell saying, we may never get back. Penei Sewell will be a big part of that. We'll get a chance to hear from the big offensive tackle when we come back. Back here on Super Bowl Today, presented by Verizon. Looking forward to the Bay Area playing host to yet another Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl 60. A couple of guys who would like to get there. Offensive tackle of the Detroit Lions, Penei Sewell, and Equanimous St. Brown's brother.
Amara, your old teammate, your quarterback, Sam Darnold, is making his way to the Super Bowl. Are you surprised by his success now? Because it seems like there are a lot of people that are surprised that he was able to turn it around. You know him best. What do you know about him? Are you surprised?
Yeah, I mean, watching Sam Darnold, since I was at USC, I'm rooting for him. I might be a little biased, but I got the Hawks winning. But no, I think his story, his journey has been amazing. I always just think he's had the talent. I think it was just a matter of him being on the right squad with the right pieces around him. I think he has that now. He had it last year in Minnesota too. Guys will be able to see what he was able to do there. But he's in the Super Bowl now, first USC quarterback to be in the Super Bowl. So I'm rooting for him. I'm excited for him, and hopefully they get the dub. So a USC quarterback can win a Super Bowl.
There you go. Penei, we were talking a lot about NFL honors today. Obviously, tomorrow night, Protector of the Year is going to be handed out. Great to see the offensive linemen finally getting their recognition, right, at the NFL honors. I'm just kind of curious your thoughts on what that would mean to you to bring home that kind of hardware.
I mean, yeah, it means a lot. I mean, there's a lot of guys in this league I feel like are deserving. And just to be one of the finalists, it means a lot. And, hopefully I can bring it home. But, again, there's a lot of qualified guys that worked hard this year. And so, it means a lot.
Amon-Ra, who has a better podcast, you or your dad?
That's a great question. My dad would say him. But, I'm going to go with myself. I feel like I've been in it longer than him. I feel like, I'm a more seasoned vet than him. But he's doing his thing. I'll give him his props.
I got to ask you this, going all the way back to when you were in high school. I remember being at the opening and you used to punt the ball after every score. You doing that on the practice field, or have we outgrown that part of it?
Yeah, it was funny. We were just watching, me and Penei were just watching some of those videos of us back in high school. Sometimes in practice I feel like if it's a big catch, I'll punt it. But, in the game, I think I've only punted it one time after a score in the NFL. There's some fines that happen if it goes too far and whatnot. So I try to keep those to a limit. But I punted it one time. But, man, that was funny that you brought that up. That was a throwback moment for me.
No question. I think being here, being in the Super Bowl host city, right, for Super Bowl week. Obviously, there's a lot of activity, a lot of stuff going on. But for you guys as teammates who strive to, as you mentioned before, Amon-Ra, not to be talking to us in this setting, but to be playing on Sunday. Like, how do you view your responsibilities, for both of you in assuring that Detroit can be on this stage one day?
Yeah, I think for me, for us, I would say, I think the first thing is, we getting back to work. That's the most important thing. We got new coaches. We got some new players that are going to come in. We got some players that are going to leave. So we're going to have a new team next year. But I think the season that we had this past year, to us, it was a failure. To the players in this locker room, we know what we're capable of. We know the talent that we have. We know what we're able to do. And so when you have, when you fall short of that goal, you don't even make the playoffs. It's not a good taste that you have in your mouth. And I think all of us felt that after the season. So I don't think any of us want to be in that same position next year. And so I think we'll be, more motivated than ever going into this offseason, going into OTAs, training camp and whatnot. So I think a lot of the guys we're excited to get back to work. We're excited to, have this new year start. And I think Panay feels the same way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys, by the way, looking really nice in the Bounty cardigans, in a great spot to clean up, right, 2025 and push things forward here into 2026. But Panay and Amon-Ra, I'll start with you, Panay. Just tell us a little bit more about what you guys are doing as wingmen together on behalf of Bounty.
I mean, yeah, as you can see, I'm here with my wingman, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And, I'm just sharing my personal connection with Bounty, whether it's in terms of, like, our jobs. And we both got to keep things clean, whether I'm got to keep the quarterback clean or Bounty with messes. And then also I got 3 kids. I'm a family man. So Bounty comes in clutch each and every time when the kids want to get dirty.
Best of luck to Panay Sewell as he tries to win the Protector of the Year because he's been wiping the floor with pass rushers all season to keep the pocket extra clean. The most time sacked in a single postseason. Drake May is going to need to avoid 4 sacks in order to not be up there with Joe Burrow, who was sacked 19 times. Of course, number 19, the most notable one, as it led to the Rams winning the Super Bowl there at SoFi Stadium. It is time for Vantage Point, presented by Verizon. Let's discuss protecting Drake May, because Marcus, Drake May loves to get buckets. He loves to make plays. He holds on to the football to the last second, but sometimes the last second comes before he expects, and he's able to be sacked. Will that offensive line be able to protect him against a defensive line that applies a lot of pressure?
I think they're going to have issues, and they had issues against the Denver Broncos a couple of weeks ago, and I think this is going to be sort of a similar situation. I mean, we've seen those guys up front for Seattle really be able to get after the quarterback. I think they didn't necessarily rack up a ton of sacks against the Rams, but that's because Matthew Stafford is a master of sort of navigating the pocket, getting the ball out quickly, and that is what Drake May is going to have to do. Now, he's a lot more mobile than Matthew Stafford is, and that could potentially help him if he's able to kind of make some plays with his pocket, from the pocket, and slow down the pass rush a little bit. But if he gets back there and he decides he wants to stand in the pocket and try to win this thing with his arm, it could be a really long, frustrating day for him.
Yeah, I think the onus kind of goes on the offensive line's ability to block and move the line of scrimmage for Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson, because that's kind of what keeps Drake May upright in those situations, to provide a little bit of doubt for the pass rushers, because as we've seen through the postseason, again, it was Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. and of course, Nick Bonito and Cooper. Very, very good pass rushers. This is not to besmirch the Patriots' offensive line, but just this Seahawks group is also very, very good. Yeah. And so to hold on to the ball for that long, Drake, perhaps not necessarily the route to take. So we're looking forward to that game. Looking forward to the general experience coming up in the Super Bowl. And folks, there's been some great fan experiences in the Bay Area this week.
Verizon Access is your passport to the game's most exhilarating experiences, connecting you to your favorite teams and creating memories that last a lifetime. Exclusively for Verizon customers.
What about memories of a rookie season that will last forever? Panthers rookie Tetairoa McMillan had a nice season, 70 catches, 1,000 yards. He had 7 touchdowns and is a nominee for NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. He joined the guys on Super Bowl Live earlier this week.
T-Mac, appreciate you joining us, man. You set the Carolina rookie record with over 1,000 receiving yards in your first season. As you've had a chance to kind of decompress, how would you describe that first year in the league, that journey that even brought you into the postseason?
I feel like it was pretty solid. We were able to make the playoffs for the first time in 7 years, being able to host a playoff game for the first time in 10 years. So win the division. I mean, it was pretty good as far as, what we accomplished, but I definitely think there's a lot more for us ahead.
T-Mac, I was at that game against the Rams. The energy was crazy. Have you ever seen the stadium in Charlotte be lit up like that ever?
I've never seen it. That was my first time, but I feel like a lot of it had to do with all the legends coming back to support us. Obviously we had Cam in there, we had Steve Smith, we have all these incredible Panthers legends just showing us love and support. So shout out to them.
It was a great environment. But I want to talk about this environment and this connection between you and your quarterback, Bryce Young. Going all the way back to high school, guys, rivals. What's that connection been like? How have you guys been able to jump off and have success right away?
Yeah, I mean, we was fortunate enough to connect in the pre-draft process for me, and then as well as in the offseason, we trained together. So, just two dudes from Cali. So at the end of the day, we just playing football. So, but I mean, he's a great dude, great player. And, I'm excited to see what the future holds for both of us.
You're up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. How are the nerves? Tell me a little bit about some of the other guys that are up there with you that you saw go through a terrific first year in the league as well.
I mean, yeah, all of the candidates are incredible players, man, and also good people. I was able to meet a few of them, was able to train with a few of them during the draft process. So, I'm big fans of every player up there. So, we'll see what happens.
What did you learn in your first year as a rookie, going against defenses, studying? What can you critique it to be better, and what did you have success with?
The biggest thing for me that I had to learn was, not getting as much calls that I wanted. I feel like in college, I had the luxury of getting calls. Maybe when they shouldn't have been called, I was able to get the call. But, I've learned when I got in the league that I had to earn my stripes, man. I'm new to the league, and so, like I said, I got to earn my stripes.
And speaking of earning it, I'm sure when you were breaking down the film over the course of the season, you kept diligent notes, very detailed notes on all these corners you played. And so in the Super Bowl, there are two top corners, Devin with the spoon and Christian Gonzalez, and you had a chance to go against both of them. Compare and contrast their games.
Yeah, I mean, they're completely different players, but also two great players. Like you said, they're the best corners on both teams. Was able to play against both of them this year. Gonzo's a little bit more lanky, a little bit more patient, can run with you. And then Devin, I mean, he's a little bit more aggressive, willing tackler, gets hands on, but also plays the ball really well. I mean, those are two dudes that, I was fortunate enough to play, and I'm looking forward to future battles with them. And, I'm excited to see what they do come Sunday.
Yeah, I got a great chance to kind of see both of these teams as they head into Super Bowl 60 on Sunday. T-Mac, obviously it's Spam versus everybody, and I think we all agree right here on this set. If you could tell us a little bit more about Spam and what's going on with them this week here.
I mean, man, I'm fortunate enough to partner with them, being able to be the first NFL athlete to partner with them. It's something that I grew up on, and I still eat to this day, man. I grew up on this. Me and my family eat it. Spam versus everybody, like you said, I can't complain, man. I'm just super blessed to be a part of the Spam family.
T-Mac breaking barriers, first Spam partnership?
He said his Spam family when Spamily is right there.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing what they can accomplish as a brand partnership. But we're also looking forward coming up tonight at 6 Eastern on NBC, as well as on NFL Network, 9 Eastern on NBC and on the NFL Network. It's the NFL Honors presented by Invisalign. We're going to find out who the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Ibuka, Dart, McMillan, Travion Henderson, who's playing in the Super Bowl, and Tyler Shuck, who had a great late season, did not necessarily have the full season that a lot of those guys had. So why don't we put away Will once again, straight to who should win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I think it's Tetairoa McMillan. I mean, I just think the consistency across the season is sort of what made him the Offensive Rookie of the Year for me. I mean, Emeka Egbuka came out of the gates hot, was outstanding for the first month or so of the season, spurred in part because of some unfortunate injuries. They lost Mike Evans for a while, Chris Godwin trying to get back up to speed, and so we really saw Emeka Egbuka take off. You mentioned Tyler Shuck, who came on kind of midway through the year and started to get better for the Saints, but from week 1 until week 18, Tetairoa McMillan, maybe never flashy, maybe never putting up huge numbers, but was just consistent in an offense trying to find itself. I think he's the winner.
Yeah, trying to find itself for multiple years, and they kind of touted the young talent that they had at receiver in the previous year after the 2024 season, and folks wondered, with so many other needs, why would the Carolina Panthers invest in Tetairoa McMillan, who some folks, whenever, Marcus, there's a draft prospect, and the idea is, well, I question this guy's heart. I'm in. I'm buying in at that point because all he did was produce the vast majority of receiving yards had at Arizona during the time where Tetairoa McMillan was there. Were by Tetairoa McMillan, and he was special. The Carolina Panthers absolutely needed him in this season. You think about all those great plays, that big play on 4th down against the Rams. That does not happen if T-Mac and Bryce Young aren't on the same exact page with how to work the route late as the play breaks down. A great rookie season, and I honestly think it'd be a bit of a gift to any of these other rookies if Tetairoa McMillan does not win Rookie of the Year. Not a gift with the fact that we weren't able to finish this season with Fred Warner playing for the San Francisco 49ers, but we do have an opportunity to hear Fred Warner coming up on our show. Super Bowl Today Vantage Point, presented by Verizon. We'll be back after this.
Cowboys ready? Hell yeah! Cowboys ready? Hell yeah!
Hurting gets hit. Ball comes down on the ground.
Come on, boy!
The defense holding the Niners to 3 points. Fires down the middle. Intercepted.
We about to get this win. Let's go.
It's going to go down as he throws. It's intercepted to the house. Are you kidding me? It goes to D-Law again.
We dominated, man.
That is us. That is Seahawks football, man.
Cowboys ready? Hell yeah! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
It is time for Always Reliable, presented by Courtyard by Marriott, as we are looking forward to a great matchup between a very, very good offense and a very, very good defense of the Seattle Seahawks. Marcus Grant, let's discuss one particular player on the Seattle defense. If it has to be a player for the Seahawks, who is it?
I think it's going to be Leonard Williams. I think it's just those guys up front. And the secondary is very good, but I think what happens in the trenches is going to impact Drake May and what happens everything else around that Patriots offense. And for Leonard Williams, part of it's going to be him being able to get after the quarterback a little bit. Some of it's going to have to be him trying to slow down that running game, because I will expect that you'll see Josh McDaniels try to establish it a little bit, whether it's Ramondre Stevenson or Travion Henderson. And so a lot of that's going to fall on those guys up front. I think Leonard Williams has been very quietly been one of the top playmakers defensively in this league this year. I know we talk about some of the guys in the secondary, Witherspoon, Reek Woolen, Eman Wari, but I think what happens up front is going to be the catalyst for the Seattle defense, and I think Leonard Williams has to be in the center of it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not going up front, though. I'll take a little bit over to the edges where DeMarcus Lawrence is playing for this Seattle Seahawks defense, going up potentially multiple times against the top pick, the first-round pick, top 4 pick in Will Campbell, who has had some struggles. Again, I will reiterate, in defense of Will Campbell, those struggles have come against Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter, and Nick Bonito, like guys who have had a lot of success against everybody in the NFL. And I think about the path that got DeMarcus Lawrence to the Seattle Seahawks, kind of spurned away from a Cowboys team that decided to forego edge rushers in general as a concept, and to be in this part at this point and playing in this particular game. I think a great opportunity for him and a great opportunity for us to hear from another great NFC West defender. We hate that Fred Warner couldn't finish the season, but he did start Super Bowl week, spending some time on Good Morning Football this week.
Radio Row is buzzing here on GMFB OT. It is chaos, and there is no one calmer than the 4-time Pro Bowler linebacker from the San Francisco 49ers, Fred Warner.
Let's go.
Who just witnessed the ultimate magic.
This is incredible.
Hell
yeah. Early in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
We've been on for 12 hours at this point straight.
Yeah.
We're still bringing it to you, Warner.
Perfect.
We don't ever want you to get hurt again. I hate when you get injured.
Okay.
I think you're the most watchable linebacker in the league.
Yeah.
It's the barking, it's the physicality, it's the hair. You got this like Luke Kuechly thing, where you know the play before they run it.
Yeah.
I love watching you. How are you feeling? How's the body? What are we looking forward moving forward?
Yeah, I'm feeling great, man. You saw it in clips, being able to return to practice a few weeks ago to have a chance at playing an NFC Championship game. That meant a lot to me, trying to be out there for my teammates. Unfortunately, we didn't get it done right in the divisional to have a chance to do that. But
would you have played in the Super Bowl?
Oh, absolutely. I would have played NFC Championship.
Damn.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, we never got to see that. But fortunately, feeling great. Obviously, with opportunity to return next year.
Well, there's going to be a lot of NFC championships in your future, brother, because the way that you play and the way that you lead your team is just, I love everything about it. Now, there's a lot about the Seattle Seahawks defense that reminds me of your defense. Their ability to create pressure with only 4, dropping back into zone. What is it about the Seattle defense that you like so much?
Well, I actually despise them. I don't like them at all. But the thing that their defense does do well, because I do have to tip my cap. They're in the Super Bowl. They've had an outstanding season. It all starts up front. Their D-line is ferocious. They come in waves. And to pair it with a back end that is just fast, they're all long. It seems like they all got these 35-inch arms back there to just, collapse space. It makes it so muddy in there for an offense. They play with the right style of the aggressiveness. So Mike McDonald's got him riled up for sure.
That's really cool. Fred, talk about the guys in your room really quick, because we see an impressive amount of defensive coordinators roll through San Francisco. They stop, they make you guys look really good, and then they go on and they get head coaching opportunities. Manti lost his mind the other day because we had Robert Saleh on the show, and he couldn't get enough of talking about the 49ers defense.
Sure.
What do you attribute that to? The guys in the room or Shanahan hiring the right person?
It's always a combination of both. I think Coach Shanahan does a great job of bringing the right guys in. We run a really great scheme. We've brought in players that fit the scheme, and so I think it is a combination of both. But Coach Saleh, I always give my flowers to him because he's such a brilliant mind, an amazing teacher of the game to his players, a players coach, knows exactly how to motivate the guys at different points in the season. So I know he'll be fantastic over in Tennessee.
That's cool.
You play the Titans, are you going to light them up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so I feel like I can ask this because John Lynch was asked about it and he commented on it. There is a theory on the internet about something called an electrical substation.
Okay, this is the first I'm hearing about it.
Is it
Have you seen this?
No, I've never seen it. No, of course
The theory?
not. That's all I got asked about yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Fred, you just fish hooked me. I thought, I'm like, oh, we got an exclusive. So wait, total nonsense or like, hold on a sec, where does it land?
We need more research done, I guess, is where I'm at this point, right? I keep hearing all these different theories about it. Supposedly it's been there since the 1980s, right, when Jerry Rice and them were practicing over here. So the fact that it's now just starting to kind of become a thing, I'm a little hesitant about it. I train here year-round. I have no worries about it. But since it is kind of a part of the conversation, now we have to do some more research and see if there's anything behind it.
Jerry looked pretty spry on the sideline of the flag game last night.
Oh my God,
so
Jerry Rice,
right?
twisted steel. No matter what.
Just soaking up that substation, for years.
Right.
All the superpowers,
Fred,
like the Hulk.
You look great in your white polo with the Experian logo on it. You are here on behalf of them. What's the messaging like for you this week for Experian?
Yeah, man, Experian. They help you save time and money. Who doesn't love time and money, right? We've all been there where we have subscriptions and they kind of get lost in the shuffle and you just forget about them and you're still paying for them. Experian helps you cancel unwanted subscriptions through their app, so go download it today. Experian. Download the app.
They got you and Puka in this commercial. Did they just go out and say, like, let's get the best hair in the NFL and put you guys on some loungers?
Just two BYU legends right there, man.
Yes,
two BYU Cougars.
Yes. Oh, that's really cool.
And so we had a lot of fun there. That was actually right after we beat them on Thursday night, so I got to give them a little bit of that during that commercial.
Shanny, I'm talking about Kyle Shanahan. Like, this guy's been through so much.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I feel like he goes home and screams into a pillow. And, dude, they do these side-by-side pictures of him when he was hired from now.
Correct.
And that's like hard work and hours and grit. Like, how's the Shan man right now, dude?
I think he's doing great. You know, I haven't talked to him since a couple weeks ago when we ended, but I'm sure he's doing great. And he put together a fantastic coaching, what would you say, just how to be an amazing coach, like through the chaos of losing a lot of your star players throughout the year and still have a chance at winning a 1 seed, and still have a chance at, going and chasing a Super Bowl, winning on the road in Philadelphia. Yep. So he's the best of the best, man. He's awesome.
Fred, you've been an awesome guest. I'm going to spare you making a pick. I feel like you don't even want to.
No, we can make picks.
You want to make a pick?
Yeah,
okay, go ahead, Fred.
Patriots by 50. Clip it. Clip it. You heard it here first, folks.
The diplomatic answer with Fred Warner regarding the substation theory. He's like, hey, fans, the answer is located somewhere in a book. When we come back, we will make picks for the game, including who's going to win MVP at Honors. The decision is not up to voters. It's up to Marcus Grant. It's up to me. We'll tell you who we think will win at Honors tonight when we come back on Super Bowl Today. We're back on Super Bowl Today, folks. Be sure to check out NFL Honors presented by Invisalign. Find out who takes home the NFL's most prestigious honors. MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, and more. Hosted by John Hamm tonight, 9 Eastern on NBC, also on NFL Network. But let's say that you have a previous engagement. You are committed elsewhere. We're going to tell you who we think should win some awards. We'll start with the nominees for Defensive Player of the Year: Aiden Hutchinson, Micah Parsons, whose season ended unfortunately a little bit early with a torn ACL, Myles Garrett, the Sack King, Nick Bonito, and Will Anderson Jr. So, Marcus, it's up to you. The weight of the Defensive Player of the Year award falls on your shoulders. Who should it be?
This feels like the easiest one of them all. It's Myles Garrett for me. I mean, the guy set the all-time single-season sack record. He is a real-life Avenger when you just watch him play. He is inevitable. So this one feels like a pretty easy call. This one should be Myles Garrett for me and a runaway, and everybody else sort of playing for second place.
Yeah, this time last year there was a chance where anybody maybe could have sent a trade offer to Berea, Ohio to get Myles Garrett. He elected to stay, and he became the Sack King. Let's get another award set of nominees for the Coach of the Year. Here they are. It's Ben Johnson, who got the Bears to the postseason. Kyle Shanahan, Liam Cohen with a great season by the Jacksonville Jaguars that ended a touch early at home to the Buffalo Bills. Mike Mack is in the Super Bowl playing against the other coach and nominee, Mike Vrabel, but there can only be one. Who is your pick for Coach of the Year?
This is one where it does feel like sort of just an honor to be nominated, because I think all 5 of these guys have a legitimate shot at winning it. I'm going to go with Mike Vrabel, who brought the Patriots out of their long time wandering in the wilderness, their whole 5 years or whatever it was, wandering in the wilderness. But look, I mean, they were 3-14 last year. They were 14-3 this year. Now they're playing in the Super Bowl. I know that postseason doesn't factor into this, but to take what was basically the same group of players, essentially, with a few additions here and there, but take this group and completely turn their season around, have them as a division winner, very nearly the 1 seed in the AFC. I do think that is certainly noteworthy. So, again, I don't think I'm upset with anybody who wins it, but I'm going to put my chip on Mike Vrabel here.
Well, Mike Vrabel being able to do this with a mostly new group of players, and again, some of the veterans that they did bring in, like Milton Williams, weren't new to the NFL. They were new to the team, and they made it work. My guy had a different circumstance where it was the same group of players, but they all got hurt. I would like to nominate the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, as the Coach of the Year, because not only does he have to keep that team together, keep them on schedule, orchestrate departures in the defensive coordinator position. They bring in Robert Saleh, but he's got that giant sheet because he also has to call the plays, and he's doing all that while the team's falling apart. A lot of it falls firmly on the shoulders of 23, and he had Christian McCaffrey back and healthy, and he utilized him to the best of his abilities. So I think it should be Kyle Shanahan. But as you pointed out, Marcus, there's a lot of great choices. This one, always rife with controversy because we don't know what valuable means. CMC, Drake May, Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence. Based on how you feel, about what valuable means or what it should mean, who's your MVP, Marcus?
I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford. Christian McCaffrey thinks it's worthy just because of all the injuries you mentioned, but Matthew Stafford at 37 years old, putting up career numbers. I mean, passing yardage totals, touchdown totals. This is a guy who the doctor said he needed a backiotomy before the season. He goes into an Airstream trailer and has the greatest year you could ever imagine, but really was the guy that made the Rams go very nearly got through to the Super Bowl. He's my MVP.
Yeah, and I think, seeking out therapeutic efforts may be tough. You have to have first that X-ray to determine whether or not you have that dog in you. And I think Matthew Stafford, the Georgia Bulldog, does have it. And in terms of his play this season, it's just been special. And I think the MVP should be the player who excelled the most away from his peers relative to the level of competition. I think that's Matthew Stafford and what the Rams were able to do. And, of course, because they didn't get that 4th and 4 in Seattle in the postseason, the season is bad. Nobody gets to remember it. Nobody gets to celebrate it because only one team can be happy. And we get closer to that day where either the Patriots or the Seahawks, whose helmets are placed on our table, will win the Super Bowl. We'll be back for a Friday edition of Super Bowl Today tomorrow. For Marcus, I'm Patrick. Enjoy NFL honors tonight.